Hello, sleepy thinkers, and welcome to Sleepy Science Teller. I'm so glad you are here tonight. It's time to rest, to listen, and to gently drift away into calm thoughts. This evening, we will explore the soft, secret glow of life, the phenomenon of bioluminescence. From glowing oceans to sparkling fireflies to the hidden lights of the deep sea, together, we will follow these gentle sparks of nature and let them guide us into a place of wonder and quiet dreams. Before we begin, I would love to know where you're listening from tonight and what time is it in your part of the world. Please share in the comments below. It helps us all feel connected beneath the same quiet sky. And if you find comfort in these bedtime journeys, please softly press the like button and gently subscribe so that you never miss another night of calm exploration. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing by the edge of the sea thousands of years ago. There are no city lights, no lamps, no screens. The night sky is vast, filled with countless stars, whispering their silent songs. The waves roll in one after another, and then you notice something unusual, a faint shimmer, a delicate blue-green light, curling with the waves. Each crest glows for only a moment, then fades, as if the sea itself is breathing with light, softly glowing, softly vanishing in a rhythm that feels alive. For the first humans who saw this, it must have been breathtaking. Perhaps they thought it was magic. Perhaps they believed the ocean was filled with spirits, or that stars had fallen into water and were now swimming beneath the surface. This was the first gentle glow, the first encounter with the mysterious phenomenon we now call bioluminescence. Long before science gave it a name, or chemistry explained it, people must have felt awe, wonder, and even a little fear to see light, shining where no flame burned and no sun shone. The glow of the sea at night was a secret, a gift of nature waiting to be discovered, and in many places, stories were born from it. In Japan, sailors would speak of omobatoru, the sea fireflies, tiny creatures that made the water sparkle. In the Caribbean, islanders believed glowing waves carried messages from ancestors. And in Europe, travelers wrote in their journals of nights at sea, when the dark waters seemed to turn into liquid stars. This glow has always been with us. It did not start when humans noticed it. It was there long before, hidden in the ocean, shining quietly in the darkness, a secret woven into life itself. And so, when we talk about the first gentle glow, we are not only talking about the human discovery of it, we are speaking about something far older, a story that began deep in time, perhaps hundreds of millions of years ago, when the first tiny living beings learned to create their own light. To understand the first glow, we must return to the ancient oceans, to a world long before humans, long before trees, even long before animals with bones. The earth was young then. The seas were filled with simple life, tiny organisms drifting in currents invisible to the eye, and somewhere among these countless tiny beings, a few developed a strange and beautiful power, the ability to glow. Why would they glow in such darkness? Perhaps to protect themselves, perhaps to scare away predators, perhaps by accident at first, a side effect of chemistry. But whatever the reason, those who glowed survived, and their glow was passed on generation after generation. Imagine an ancient ocean, black, deep, and endless, and within it small sparks, dots of light, flickering in the water like distant stars. This was not fire And it was not the sun. It was life itself creating light. In time, more and more creatures carried this gift. Tiny plankton, strange jellyfish, fish with lanterns on their heads. The ocean became a theater of living light, a place where survival depended not only on strength, but also on the clever use of glow. And so, when the first humans walked the earth, the glow was already there, waiting, silently shining in the waves. When they saw it for the first time, they were witnessing something ancient, something that had been part of Earth's story for hundreds of millions of years. The first gentle glow was not just a first sight, it was a continuation of a very old journey, a journey that life itself had been carrying forward, a secret that belonged not to humans alone, but to the whole living world. Let us return once more to the human heart. Imagine a fisherman on a small wooden boat. Thousands of years ago, he pulls his net from the water and finds it glowing, shimmering softly in the night. He does not know the word bioluminescence. He only knows that the sea seems alive with fire. He may tell his children of it, and they, too, will believe the sea carries hidden spirits. Or perhaps he will see it as a blessing, a good sign for the voyage. This is how myths and legends grew, through the quiet, glowing moments of the sea. Even today, when we stand by glowing shores, we feel the same wonder. Science may explain it now, but knowledge does not erase beauty. If anything, it deepens it, because to know that these glowing sparks are tiny organisms, working with delicate chemistry, creating light without flame, is to see the miracle more clearly. Nature, in its quiet way, has written light into the story of life. And so the first gentle glow is not only about the ocean, it is about us too, about how we see the world, how mystery becomes story, and story becomes knowledge, and how, even when we know the explanation, we still feel the quiet magic deep within our hearts. So the first glow, dear listener, is both science and poetry. It is as old as the oceans, and as new as every wave rolling tonight. It is a light that belongs to no one, and yet it belongs to all of us, guiding us softly into the mystery of life. Imagine holding a small lantern in the night, a flame glowing gently, giving light, giving warmth. Now imagine the same glow, but with no lantern, no fire, no fuel, only life itself, creating light from within. This is the wonder we call bioluminescence, the natural ability of living creatures to make their own light. The word itself comes from two roots, bio, meaning life, and luminescence, meaning light. Quite simply, it is living light. But unlike the harsh glow of electric bulbs or the burning flames of fire, this light is cool, soft, and pure. It does not scorch, it does not consume. Instead, it shimmers quietly, like moonlight captured in a body. Bioluminescence is found in many forms of life, from the smallest plankton to glowing mushrooms in deep forests, to the gentle fireflies dancing in summer air, and most abundantly in the vast, mysterious oceans where darkness rules and light becomes a rare and precious gift. To truly understand it, we must see it as more than just science. It is an ancient language spoken by life itself, a message written in light across countless species over countless ages. Some glow only briefly in tiny flashes. Others carry a steady lantern-like shine. Some send signals to one another, while others use glow as a trick, a disguise, a warning. The beauty of bioluminescence is that it is both simple and deeply complex. simple in its visible form, a glow, a spark, a shimmer, but complex in its meaning, its purpose, its story. When you see the ocean glowing beneath your feet at night, you are witnessing the language of life itself, an ancient conversation taking place in light, not sound, softly shared between creature and creature across the endless dark. To ask what bioluminescence is also to ask where it lives, because this gift of glowing is not everywhere. It is scattered like stars across the tree of life. Most bioluminescence is found in the ocean. It is said that more than 3/4 of deep-sea creatures have some form of glow. In the crushing darkness of the deep sea, light is both a tool and a necessity. Without it, creatures would vanish into nothingness. But with it, they can signal, hide, or lure. Tiny plankton, known as dinoflagellates, drift in the waves, glowing when disturbed. When a boat cuts through the water at night, the waves may sparkle, leaving a trail of blue-green fire, as if the sea itself is alive and following your path. In deeper waters, anglerfish carry glowing lures above their mouths. Jellyfish send ripples of light across their bodies, and squid create sudden flashes to escape predators. On land, bioluminescence is rarer, but no less magical. Fireflies light up summer nights, turning meadows into fields of tiny lanterns. Certain fungi glow faintly in forests, sometimes called foxfire or fairy fire. And some insects in caves create glowing threads, trapping unsuspecting prey. Each glow, whether on land or sea, is part of the same great story. Life finding a way to shine, even in the deepest shadows. It is remarkable to think that from the smallest drifting plankton to the quiet flicker of fireflies, the glow is the same, the language is the same, light born not from flame, but from life. So what truly is bioluminescence? It is not just a glow in the water or a flicker in the forest. It is a survival tool, a communication system, a hidden art of life. For some, it means attraction, a way to call to mates across the dark distance. For others, it means protection, startling enemies with sudden flashes, or blending in with moonlit waters. And for still others, it means hunting, luring prey closer with soft lights until it is too late to escape. Bioluminescence is, in truth, a toolbox of light, a gift of evolution, used in countless ways. Each glow has a purpose, though to our eyes it may look simply beautiful. But beyond purpose, there is wonder. When we stand by the shore at night and see the waves sparkle with each step, we are not thinking of survival strategies or molecular reactions. We are thinking of beauty, of mystery, of how alive the world feels. That is the heart of bioluminescence. It is both science and poetry. It is chemistry, but also art. It is a trick of survival and a gift of wonder. So when we ask, what is bioluminescence? The answer is many things. It is living light born of life itself. It is survival written in glow. It is beauty written in waves. And it is mystery, still, even after centuries of study. For though we can explain the reactions and name the molecules, the feeling of standing in front of glowing seas remains beyond words. It is as if the earth herself is breathing out light and reminding us that life, even in the darkest places, can shine. When you think of light, you may picture a candle, a glowing fire, or the sun itself. All of these shine brightly, but with their light, they also bring heat. The flame of a candle burns, the fire warms, the sun blazes with unending heat. But the light created by living things is different. It glows, yet does not burn. It shines, yet it does not consume. It is cool to the touch, almost like moonlight captured inside a body. This is the quiet wonder of bioluminescence. It is light without heat, a glow born from chemistry alone. At the heart of this chemistry are special molecules, the most famous of which are called luciferin and luciferase. Luciferin is a substance that produces light, while luciferase is a gentle enzyme that helps the reaction take place. When luciferin meets oxygen with the help of luciferase, a small spark of light is released. No smoke, no flame, no burning, only glow. The process is efficient, almost perfect. Nearly all of the energy is turned into light instead of heat, something humans still struggle to achieve, even with our cleverest technologies. Imagine if every lamp in your home could shine without wasting energy as heat. Imagine streetlights glowing with perfect efficiency. Bioluminescence is nature's quiet proof that this is possible. Life has already found the way, and though the names may sound complex, the process itself is simple, elegant, and beautiful. A dance of molecules meeting in silence, and with each meeting, a glow, a shimmer, a spark of life-made light. Not all bioluminescence is the same. Different creatures in different part of the world use different chemistries. Some use one kind of luciferin, others use another. It is as if nature has written many recipes for creating the same gentle glow. In the ocean, dinoflagellates, tiny drifting plankton, use a kind of luciferin that makes the sea sparkle blue. Jellyfish, on the other hand, often use a slightly different system, sometimes involving a helper protein called aquarin. Fireflies, glowing on warm summer nights, have their own unique type of luciferin, giving their flashes a yellow-green shimmer. Each kind of glow is like a different dialect of the same language. The chemistry shifts, the molecules vary, but the story is the same. Life finding a way to make light. Even bacteria have their own version of luciferin and luciferase. Some glowing fish do not make their own light at all. Instead, they carry glowing bacteria in their bodies, and the bacteria perform the chemistry for them. A tiny partnership of survival, built upon the exchange of light. The variations are endless, and each one shows us the creativity of life. There is not just one way to glow. There are many, as if nature wanted to paint the darkness with as many brushes as possible. And so, the chemistry of light is not fixed. It is flexible, adaptable, shaped by evolution and need, like countless recipes, cooking the same dish in different kitchens. The result is always glow, always that soft shimmer, whispering quietly in the night. If we look deeper into the heart of this reaction, we see something almost poetic. Luciferin, waiting patiently. Luciferase, ready to guide the meeting. Oxygen, flowing softly into the mix. And then light. It is as if nature itself has hidden lanterns in living bodies, and each glow is the moment the lantern is lit, not with flame, but with chemistry, not with fuel, but with life. The glow can be steady, like the calm lantern of a deep-sea fish, or it can flicker like the playful dance of fireflies in the grass. Sometimes it is used to lure, sometimes to warn. Sometimes it shines for just a breath, sometimes for long minutes. But behind it all is the same quiet elegance, a chemical reaction unfolding gently, perfectly balanced. To scientists, this process is fascinating. They study it, They name the molecules, they trace the pathways. They even borrow these molecules, using them in laboratories to track cells, to study diseases, to unlock new medicines. The glow of a jellyfish or a firefly has helped humans make discoveries that save lives. And yet, even with all this knowledge, the glow still feels magical, because to the human heart, light in the darkness is always more than science. It is hope, it is comfort, it is wonder. The chemistry of light, then, is not only a biological trick, it is a reminder that life carries beauty within its very fabric, that molecules invisible to our eyes can paint the world with visible glow, that even in the deepest dark, the smallest creature can shine. So the next time you see a firefly flicker or a wave sparkle with light, remember the chemistry inside it. Remember luciferin and luciferase meeting oxygen in silence. Remember that this simple, perfect dance has been unfolding for millions of years, a living chemistry set glowing softly in the night. Close your eyes and imagine yourself descending into the ocean. At first, the sunlight follows you. It dances on the surface, shimmers around the waves, and paints the shallow corals with color. But as you go deeper, the light begins to fade. A few meters down, the blue shades become darker. At 50 meters, the warmth of the sun is faint. At 200 meters, the colors vanish, leaving only dim blue. And by 1,000 meters, there is nothing but blackness, an eternal night where the sun can never reach. This place, far below the surface, is the deep sea, a world of silence, pressure, and mystery, a place so alien that for centuries humans believed it was empty, too dark, too cold, too hostile for life. And yet, it is here in this eternal darkness that some of the most extraordinary creatures live. Creatures that do not need sunlight. Creatures that make their own light. Bioluminescence is not a rarity in the deep sea. It is the rule. Scientists believe that as many as 90% of deep-sea animals have the power to glow. The darkness of the deep sea is filled with light, not from the sun, but from life itself. Tiny sparks, steady lanterns, sudden flashes, an underwater galaxy, hidden from human eyes for most of history. And as we descend into this mysterious realm, we find not emptiness, but a glowing world where survival, communication, and beauty are all written in the language of light. Let us meet some of the deep sea's quiet inhabitants, each carrying its own lantern, its own way of glowing. The anglerfish, a haunting figure with sharp teeth and a dark body, carries a small glowing lure above its mouth. A tiny lamp, swaying gently, attracting curious prey. In the blackness, a hungry fish swims closer, following the glow, and in an instant, the anglerfish strikes. The light is both a beacon and a trap. Then there are the jellyfish, delicate, floating like ghosts in the water. Some ripple with waves of light across their translucent bodies, soft pulses of green, blue, or purple. Sometimes their glow is meant to confuse predators. Sometimes it is simply a dazzling display, a living firework in the silent dark. The hatchet fish, small and silver, carries a clever trick. On its belly, it is rows of tiny glowing spots. These lights match the faint shimmer of the water above, making the fish nearly invisible from below. A camouflage of light known as counterlumination. And the vampire squid, despite its name, is gentle. It does not suck blood nor attack creatures. Instead, it drifts in silence, with glowing tips at the ends of its arms. When threatened, it releases a cloud of glowing mucus, a ghostly veil of blue-green sparkles, confusing its attacker while it floats quietly away. In the deepest places of all, where the pressure is crushing and no sunlight has touched for millions of years, there are creatures so strange we still struggle to understand them. Some carry lanterns under their eyes. Some use light to find mates. Some flash suddenly, like silent lightning, in the endless dark. Each one is a mystery. Each one tells us that life, no matter how extreme the environment, always finds a way. And often, that way is light. Even now, with all our submarines, cameras, and technology, the deep sea remains largely unexplored. It is said we know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the deep ocean. Every expedition into this realm brings surprises. New glowing creatures, new ways of using light, a reminder that the story of life is still unfolding. Far below us, scientists believe bioluminescence in the deep sea serves many purposes: attracting prey, avoiding predators, finding mates, signaling to others. It is a toolkit of light, crafted by evolution over millions of years. But even with these explanations, much remains unknown. Why do some creatures glow so brightly, while others glow so faintly? Why do some flash in patterns, while others shine steadily? And what hidden species, still undiscovered, glow in ways we cannot yet imagine? For humans, peering into this glowing world is like looking into a dream of lanterns floating in eternal night, a dream of stars beneath the waves, a dream that life, even in the darkest corners of Earth, chooses not only to survive, but to shine. The mysteries of the deep sea remind us of our smallness. They remind us that Earth still holds secrets, that the ocean, vast and ancient, is still whispering stories we have not yet heard. And perhaps that is the most beautiful mystery of all, that even in an age of science and technology, the deep sea glows quietly, keeping much of its magic hidden. A world of living lanterns, waiting patiently in the dark, in the great theater of life. It is not always the largest creatures or the brightest lights that matter most. Sometimes it is the tiniest sparks that hold the greatest purpose. On land, when we think of glowing life, our minds often drift to fireflies, small insects carrying golden lanterns in their tiny bodies. Each evening, as the sun fades and the air softens into twilight, they rise into the night sky, flashing gently. One light, then another, then 100 more, like stars that descended from the heavens. A single firefly's glow is faint. It cannot light a path or warm the air, and yet when thousands glow together, their lights weave a silent chorus, a rhythm of nature, too soft to disturb, but strong enough to touch the soul. But why do they glow at all? Science tells us that fireflies use their light to find one another, males flashing patterns in the air, females responding with their own gentle signals. Each species has its own rhythm, its own language of light, a code that must be matched perfectly for a pair to meet. The tiny light of firefly is not wasteful. It is purposeful. It carries the hope of life continuing, a simple glow, holding within the story of generations to come. And so, the tiniest light, glowing in the night, is not small at all. It is a bridge between lives, a whisper of nature's endless cycle. When we look closer, we see that light, for many small creatures, is more than beauty. It is language, a way of speaking in the silence of night, deep in the forests of Southeast Asia. Entire swarms of fireflies gather on riverbanks, and instead of flashing at random, they synchronize. Thousands of insects blinking in perfect unison. The whole forest pulses softly, as if breathing with light. This natural synchronization is not only mesmerizing, it also has purpose. The unity of the lights makes it easier for mates to find one another. In a sea of brightness, the signals are amplified. What seems to us like magic is, for the fireflies, an efficient and delicate conversation. And it is not only insects. In the sea, tiny plankton carry their own lights, microscopic organisms, invisible to the eye in daylight, but glowing like liquid stars when the waters are stirred. A gentle touch, a wave, or even the passing of a fish can awaken their light, transforming the ocean into a sky of drifting galaxies. This glow, too, has purpose. Sometimes it startles predators, buying the plankton precious moments to escape. Other times, it may call the attention of larger hunters, turning the predator into prey in a delicate chain of survival. Tiny though they are, these organisms shape entire ecosystems. The light of plankton is not just beauty. It is a defense, a warning, a survival tool, a purposeful shimmer in the great web of life. As humans, we often think of greatness in terms of size or strength or power. But when we look at these tiny lights, we are reminded of another kind of greatness, the greatness of purpose. A firefly's lantern is no larger than a grain of rice. A plankton's glow lasts only seconds, and yet their lights ripple outward, shaping behaviors, guiding futures, inspiring awe. Even in science, these small lights have guided discoveries. Bioluminescent molecules, first studied in fireflies, have been used in laboratories around the world, helping scientists detect genes, track diseases, and unlock mysteries of biology. A tiny insect's glow has illuminated human knowledge in ways far beyond its size. And perhaps, beyond science, there's another lesson, that even the smallest acts of light, whether from a firefly or a plankton or a human heart, can carry purpose, can ripple across the darkness, and can mean far more than we imagine. The universe may be vast, and the night may seem endless, but when we pause to notice the small lights, we see that purpose is not measured by scale. It is measured by meaning. And so the tiniest lights hold the biggest truths, that in silence, in gentleness, in quiet glows that ask for nothing in return. Life carries on beautifully and meaningfully when the warmth of day slowly fades, and the last rays of sunlight sink into the horizon. A new kind of light awakens on land, the tender, golden glow of fireflies. They rise from the grass, from the edges of rivers, from the folds of trees, tiny lanterns, hovering gently in the evening air, their bodies, no larger than a fingertip, yet glowing with a radiance that feels older than time itself. For centuries, humans have looked upon these glowing creatures with wonder. Ancient poets described them as wandering stars. Children have cupped them in their palms, whispering wishes into the night. And travelers, far from home, have followed their lights through forests and fields, trusting the fireflies as silent guides. But behind this poetry lies science. The glow of fireflies is not just chance or accident. It is a carefully crafted signal, written deep in the language of life. The males drift above the ground, their lanterns flashing in coded rhythms. Each species has its own unique pattern, a little song of light, and the females, resting quietly on leaves, respond. Their gentle glimmers call back, choosing who to meet and who to ignore. In these small sparks of light, entire stories unfold. Stories of searching, of finding, of life continuing in delicate cycles. The glow is beauty to our eyes, but for the fireflies, it is destiny. In some parts of the world, the fireflies take their glow even further. In forests along riverbanks in Malaysia or Thailand, thousands upon thousands of fireflies gather together, and as the night deepens, their tiny lanterns begin to blink in unison. What begins as scattered flashes soon becomes rhythm, a perfect harmony of light. Whole trees covered in golden sparks, glowing together, fading together, as though the forest itself has become a breathing, living lantern. This synchrony has long amazed scientists. How do so many creatures, each no bigger than a paperclip, coordinate with such precision? The answer lies in rhythm, in biology, in the instinctive drive to connect. Each firefly adjusts its timing, subtly, to match the glow of its neighbors. And soon, the entire swarm beats as one. For the insects, this harmony has purpose. It makes it easier to find mates, to strengthen signals, to ensure survival. But for us, watching from below, it feels like magic, like nature's own light show, softer than fireworks, quieter than lanterns, yet carrying a beauty that stirs the heart in ways we cannot explain. In Japan, people hold festivals to honor the glow of fireflies, walking by riversides in silence, watching the sparks drift in the dark. It is said that fireflies there represent the souls of ancestors, gentle spirits returning for a brief time, to remind the living of the connection between past and present. Thus, the glow of fireflies is not only biology, it is memory, it is meaning, it is the intertwining of science, culture, and wonder. Yet, for all their beauty, fireflies are fragile. Their lives are delicate threads, easily disturbed. And in today's world, their gentle glow faces challenges. Light pollution from cities and streets drowns out the signals of fireflies. Artificial lights confuse their rhythms, break their communication, and dim their chances of finding one another. As humans build brighter worlds of themselves, the tiny lanterns of nature grow harder to see. Habitat loss, too, has left its mark. Forests cleared, wetlands drained, rivers altered. Each change takes away a home, a meeting place, a stage where their dance of light once unfolded. But still, in pockets of quiet countryside and in hidden forests, the fireflies remain, a reminder that even the most delicate lives can endure if we let them. Scientists and communities around the world are working to protect them, turning off unnecessary lights during firefly seasons, preserving wetlands, and teaching children the quiet joy of watching their glow. Because when we lose the fireflies, we lose more than insects. We lose a living symbol of mystery, of beauty, of connection. The glow of fireflies is a gentle gift. It asks for nothing. It burns no fuel. It makes no sound. It simply offers light, freely in the softest way. And perhaps that is why it moves us so deeply, because in their glow, we see a reflection of life itself, fragile, fleeting, yet endlessly beautiful. And so, when we step out into the night and see a spark drifting just above the grass, let us pause, let us breathe, let us be grateful for that single firefly, glowing in silence, carries within it the story of the earth and the quiet truth that even the smallest light can bring wonder to the world. In the stillness of night, deep beneath the waves, there are creatures whose glow does not come from themselves alone, but from partnerships, from friendships written in light. This is the world of symbiotic bioluminescence, where two living beings, different in form, share one purpose, and together create a glow that neither could achieve on its own. Perhaps the most famous of these partners is the Hawaiian bobtail squid, a tiny, delicate creature, small enough to rest in the palm of your hand. Each night, it drifts into shallow waters to feed, but the moon and the stars above cast shadows, shadows that predators can see from below, and so the squid carries within its body a secret, colonies of glowing bacteria, nestled safely in special organs like lanterns beneath its skin. These bacteria, known as Vibrio fischeri, produce light, a soft, bluish glow that perfectly matches the shimmer of moonlight filtering through the sea. The squid uses this borrowed light to erase its shadow, blending seamlessly into the ocean above, a trick of survival crafted not by one creature, but by two. For the bacteria, the partnership is just as vital. Inside the squid, they find food, shelter, and a safe environment to thrive. And so, both survive, both flourish. A silent pact, written in the language of glowing life. This is the first layer of the symbiotic glow, an agreement, a harmony, where each gives and each receives, and in their quiet cooperation, light is born. The bobtail squid is not alone in this dance of light and sharing. All across the oceans, there are creatures who borrow their glow, carrying symbiotic bacteria as living lanterns. Certain species of deep-sea fish, like the anglerfish, carry glowing bacteria inside their lures, that long, thin filament above their heads, dangling like a star in the darkness. The glow attracts prey, curious creatures who swim closer, drawn to the promise of light, only to find themselves caught in the waiting jaws of the fish. Here again we see purpose. The bacteria gain a home, nutrients, and protection. The fish gain the gift of light, a tool for both hunting and survival in a world where sunlight never reaches. There are also flashlight fish, whose cheeks carry glowing bacterial colonies like living torches. At night, schools of these fish move together, their lights flickering in patterns that confuse predators or guide the school through the darkness. Sometimes they even turn their lights off by covering the glowing organs with skin, a switch made not of wires but of living tissue. Each of these relationships reminds us that light in nature is rarely wasted. Every glow has reason. Every shimmer has meaning. Every partnership between hosts and bacteria is a story of survival, written in luminous ink. And what is most enchanting is that this cooperation, this partnership of glow, is not rare or strange. It is common, deeply woven into the tapestry of ocean life. The deep sea, silent and endless, is not filled with lonely creatures, but with communities, symbiotic unions, where life survives by sharing light. When we pause to reflect on these glowing partnerships, we may notice that they carry lessons, even for us, the squid and its bacteria, the anglerfish and its luminous lure, the flashlight fish and its cheek lanterns. All of them remind us that survival is not always about strength alone. It is about connection, about trust, about finding others who carry what we cannot, and offering in return what we can give. The bacteria, so small they cannot be seen without a microscope, provide light powerful enough to guide great creatures of the sea, and the hosts, large and protective, provide shelter in return. Together, they are more than they could ever be apart. In human life, too, we find meaning in partnership. We lean on one another. We share our gifts, our strengths, our light, and in doing so, we make life brighter and more survivable. Perhaps this is why the idea of symbiotic glow feels so moving. It is not only science, not only biology, it is also a gentle mirror reflecting the truth that all life, from the tiniest bacteria to the largest whale, is connected, interwoven, dependent, and when two lives come together in harmony, whether in the ocean depths or on the shore, something beautiful happens, light is born. And so, the next time we imagine the deep ocean, let us not think of it as empty or lonely, but as a place where partnerships thrive, where lanterns are carried not by machines, but by living bonds, and where the darkness itself is softened by the quiet glow of togetherness. For as long as humans have walked beneath the stars, we have gazed at glowing life with awe, long before the word bioluminescence was ever spoken. Our ancestors told stories and built myths around living lights. Sailors on ancient seas would watch as the waters around their ships came alive with sparks. Phosphorescent plankton, glowing with each ripple of the waves. To some, it was a blessing from the gods. To others, it was a warning, a message from spirits of the deep. On land, too, fireflies inspired legends. In Japan, they were said to hold the souls of warriors. In parts of Europe, they were believed to be fairy lights, tiny guardians flickering in the dark woods. And in the Americas, some native people saw them as messengers of love, carrying light across the night air. These glows, so simple to us now, were once mysteries beyond explanation, tiny flames without fire, lanterns without smoke. They showed our ancestors that the natural world was filled with magic, and perhaps even now they remind us of the same, because even with science in our hands, when we step into a glowing bay or see a firefly spark, our hearts still whisper the old truth, that some lights are meant to be felt, not explained. Yet humans are not only dreamers, we are also seekers of knowledge, and the glowing lives of nature have quietly guided our science in ways both surprising and profound. From a humble firefly, scientists discovered luciferase, a glowing enzyme that became one of the most important tools in modern biology. In laboratories, this tiny spark has been used to detect infections, to map the activity of genes, to search for cancers hidden deep within tissues. The same chemical dance that lets a firefly blink in the summer night has helped doctors save human lives. In the oceans, glowing proteins were discovered in jellyfish. One of them, known as green fluorescent protein, or GFP, became a revolution in medical research. By attaching this protein to specific genes, scientists could watch, with glowing signals, how cells divide, how nerves connect, how diseases spread. It was as if the secrets of life had suddenly been written in glowing ink, visible for the first time. And beyond medicine, glowing life has inspired technology. Designers study the efficiency of bioluminescence, where almost no energy is wasted as heat, hoping to create lights, devices, and systems that shine without waste. Some even dream of glowing trees to light our streets, or crops that softly glow to show when they need water. Visions of a future where human and natural light live side by side. All of this from fireflies, from plankton, from jellyfish, creatures who never knew that their glow would guide us, and yet they have illuminating paths not only through the night, but through the mysteries of science itself. But even as science advances, there's another way bioluminescence touches humans, not only in the lab, not only in technology, but in the quiet corners of our hearts. Think of the travelers who stand in the waters of Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, where every movement of the hand awakens glowing ripples. Children laugh as their feet sparkle with light. Adults pause in silence, their hearts fill with wonder that the sea itself seems alive. For many, these glowing waters are not just a spectacle. They are a reminder of the fragile beauty of the earth, something to cherish, to protect. Or think of a summer night in a meadow filled with fireflies, families sitting quietly, watching the sparks drift between trees. For those moments, the glow asks nothing of us. It simply shares its presence. And in return, we feel calm, we feel connection, a deep reminder that we, too, are part of the same living world. Bioluminescence also speaks to artists, to poets, to dreamers. It appears in paintings, in stories, in songs, as a symbol of mystery, of love, of fleeting beauty. For humans, light has always been hope, and living light, especially, feels like hope made visible. Perhaps that is why, even now, with all our electric lights and glowing screens, we are still drawn to the tiny, natural spark of firefly, or the blue shimmer of plankton at our feet, because no matter how much light we create ourselves, we long for the glow that comes from life itself. And so, bioluminescence and humans share a story of wonder, of discovery, of meaning, from ancient myths to modern science, to the quiet poetry of a glowing night. It has always been with us, and always will be, a secret light, reminding us that life, in all its forms, carries beauty beyond measure. When we step into the quiet of night and see a firefly drift above the grass, or a wave shimmer with blue sparks of plankton, something stirs within us, something beyond words. Science tells us of chemicals and cells, of luciferin and luciferase, of photons released by a careful dance of molecules. And yet, when we see it with our own eyes, the mind grows still, and the heart whispers softly, "This is poetry." Bioluminescence is not only a survival tool, not only a scientific marvel, it is also a kind of living poem, written not in ink or sound, but in light itself. Each glow carries rhythm, each flicker verse. The firefly, blinking in the warm air of summer, writes short, tender lines. The deep-sea jellyfish, blooming with radiant light, offers flowing stanzas, and the plankton, scattered in the ocean waves, scatter tiny sparks, like syllables of a cosmic song. This is a poetry that asks for no reader, and yet it is read by all who notice, by the curious fish in the sea, by the wandering child on land, and by us when we pause long enough to see the glow. Throughout history, humans have always seen in bioluminescence not just light, but meaning. In stories and myths, fireflies became symbols of fleeting love, of souls visiting from another world, of hope in times of darkness. Poets compared their glow to lost dreams, to gentle memories, to the quiet strength of small lights shining in endless night. In modern times, artists still turn to glow of life for inspiration. Painters capture the shimmer of plankton in wide, flowing brushstrokes. Musicians compose soft melodies, inspired by the pulse of fireflies in summer fields. and writers weave glowing creatures into their tales, as guides, as symbols, as reminders that even in the darkest of nights, there is beauty, there is presence, there is light. Bioluminescence touches something tender in the human soul, perhaps because it feels like a gift. It costs the creatures nothing to show us their light. It is given freely, without demand, without reason. And we, standing in the quiet dark, receive it in awe, as if nature itself is offering us a moment of comfort. In this way, the glow of living beings becomes more than science. It becomes a metaphor, a way of saying that even the smallest life, even the most fleeting spark, can shine and can matter. And perhaps that is why people still sit for hours by glowing waters, why they still walk in silence among fireflies, because these lights speak to something ancient within us, a need for beauty, a need for hope, a need for poetry, written not on the page, but in the air itself. When we think of poetry, we often think of words carefully chosen, arranged to carry rhythm and meaning. But bioluminescence reminds us that poetry can exist without words, that sometimes poetry is simply the feeling carried in a moment, a glowing bay at midnight, where each ripple of water paints blue fire beneath your hand. A meadow alive with fireflies, their sparks floating between trees like drifting lanterns. A deep-sea fish carrying its light into the silent dark. A solitary poet in an endless abyss. Each of these is a verse, a stanza, a reflection. To some, it feels like prayer, a reminder that the world holds mystery, that life carries beauty even in its smallest forms, that we, too, are part of this poetry, breathing, glowing in our own quiet ways. Perhaps the truest poetry of living light is that it does not last. A firefly's spark flickers only for seconds. A plankton's glow fades in moments. Even the anglerfish's lure, though constant, shines only in the lifespan of one creature. And yet, in their briefness, they teach us something profound, that beauty does not need to last forever, to matter forever, that a moment of glow, a fleeting spark, can linger in memory, in heart, in soul. So the poetry of bioluminescence is not only seen, it is felt. It is the poetry of the ephemeral, of the gift that shines once and then disappears, leaving us more awake to the mystery of life itself. We have traveled far, haven't we, from a first gentle glow of ancient oceans, to the mysteries of chemistry, to the deep seas where living lanterns drift in silence. We have walked among fireflies, stood by glowing bays, and imagine ourselves in the company of strange, radiant creatures who light their way through the dark. And as we look back now, it feels as though we have not only studied a phenomenon, but also touched the story of light itself, not the blazing light of stars, nor the blinding brightness of cities, but the softer, secret glow of life. Bioluminescence has shown us that even in the darkest places, light can appear, not to overwhelm the dark, but to live within it, to dance with it, to remind us that darkness itself can be a stage for beauty. And perhaps that is the most gentle lesson of all, that life does not erase the dark, but learns to glow within it. When we return from this journey, we do not carry jars of fireflies, nor bottles of glowing plankton, nor deep-sea lanterns hidden in our pockets. Instead, what we carry is quieter, more invisible, a feeling, a lesson, a kind of calm wonder. The glow of life teaches us patience, teaches us to notice small things, to cherish what is brief, to honor what is gentle. It whispers that beauty is not always loud or endless, that sometimes it is soft, sometimes it lasts only for a heartbeat, and yet it can stay with us for a lifetime. Perhaps when you next step outside into the night and see a tiny spark rise above the grass, you will remember this journey. Perhaps when you walk by the ocean and see the waves shimmer with blue fire, you will pause and breathe more slowly and let the moment glow within you. The gentle reflection is not about knowledge alone. It is about carrying a softness with you, a readiness to see, a willingness to let the small lights of life touch your heart. And now, as our long journey comes to its quiet end, we return to the place where all stories must settle, to silence, to stillness, to rest. Bioluminescence, the secret glow of life, has been our guide. It has shown us science. It has shown us wonder. And it has offered us a kind of poetry that lingers even after the glow itself has faded. So now, let the mind rest in that softness. Let the thoughts drift like plankton in a gentle tide. Let the heart glow quietly, like a firefly in the dusk. The night is here. The world is quiet. And you, too, may rest. Close your eyes. Breathe softly. And let the glow of all you have heard fade into dreams. Good night, dear listener, and goodbye.